Are you tired of writing social media posts for every blog that you publish? What if you could automate all of this with just a Google Sheet and a few clicks? Let me show you how to do this in under 10 minutes. Hi, my name is Kirill, and on this channel, we're going to explore how to use Python, AI, and no-code tools to automate your work and save time. Today, we're using Make.com and ChatGPT to turn blog articles into tweets, LinkedIn posts, or even Instagram captions automatically. So first, what we need to do is we need to create a dummy Google Sheet. So you can see that I've created a Google Sheet which contains four different columns. So the first one is URL, then the second one is called Twitter, the third one is called LinkedIn, and the fourth one is called Instagram. So we're going to use the data from the first column to actually parse the data from the different articles, which we want to basically turn into tweets, LinkedIn posts, and Instagram captions. And when we run the entire pipeline, we would like to save all the different basically outputs into the individual columns B, C, and D. And yeah, so this is how our Google Sheet looks. And then what we need to do is basically we need to create a scenario in make.com. So if you don't have an account in make.com, you can click on the link down in the description. It's completely free to sign up, and you also get 1,000 free operations per month. So you can use them to experiment and just play with all the different systems and APIs. And yeah, so this is our social media post scenario. And as you can see, it contains many different components. So it starts with this component here on the left hand side, which is Google Sheets, and the component is called Watch New Roles. So what this means is basically when we add a new entry or a new URL in this spreadsheet, then this scenario is going to get triggered, and we're going to look into what's going to happen after this. So if we open this component, we basically, what we need to do is we need to get our spreadsheet ID, and then we need to select the sheet name. Then we need to say that this contains headers, and we want to process just one row at a time. So once we have done this, then step number 2 is to create this component, which is HTTP make a request. And in here, what we're basically passing to this component is the URL from column A, which we get from the spreadsheet. And this will be a get method, which means that we're just fetching the information that's on the page. And yeah, so you need to select body type as raw and then content type JSON. So once this component runs, what's going to happen is you're going to get all the data that's on the page behind this URL, which we see in column A. And what we want to do next is we want to introduce this router component, which basically allows us to perform multiple actions simultaneously. And we want to introduce this ChatGPT component, and we want to send 3 different queries to ChatGPT, one for LinkedIn posts, another one for a Twitter post, and then the final one is going to be for Instagram captions. If we open the first ChatGPT component, in here, what we basically see is we first need to configure our connection. So if you don't have an OpenAI connection, then you should basically click on the add button and then follow the instructions. So after this, we want to select the method. In this case, it's going to be basically chat completion. You can select whatever model you like, but I usually prefer to use GPT-4o Mini. And after this, what we need to do is basically we need to say, okay, so this is how we're going to query ChatGPT. So we're adding a message, and then the role for this message is going to be developer slash system. And after this, we're passing the actual prompt. And then in this case, this is the prompt. So you're a social media marketer. I will give you a blog article, summarize it, and write a three-part tweet thread. And then we're passing the data, which we got from this HTTP request. And basically, ChatGPT or OpenAI is going to use this prompt and the data that it got from this module to summarize the article. And after this, it's going to basically come up with this tweet. So we repeat exactly the same process to create a LinkedIn post and also Instagram captions. It's just that we're basically tweaking the system prompt in here. As you can see, this is a LinkedIn post. And then if we open the third ChatGPT component, then they should say like Instagram caption. So there you go. So in this case, we're also asking ChatGPT to basically come up with 5 relevant hashtags so that we can just copy and paste the text and then we can create a post. And basically, once we have run these queries against ChatGPT, then we want to save the output that comes back from ChatGPT into the appropriate columns. So in here, you can see that we're basically referring to the same Google Sheet and we're selecting the row number for which we're processing the current article. And after this, we're saying, okay, once ChatGPT comes back with some data, then we want to save this into the Twitter column because the first component from ChatGPT is basically for creating a Twitter post. So the contents are going to be saved into the spreadsheet in column Twitter. And we repeat exactly the same process for the Instagram captions and the LinkedIn post. So you can see this is the LinkedIn post, and then the final one is Instagram. So let's take a look at this. So yeah, there you go. And I also added another component which is going to publish or actually make a post on LinkedIn automatically. So if you open this, so basically we're saying, okay, let's create a LinkedIn connection. So you can click on this button, add, and then follow the instructions on the screen. So this is going to basically give make.com access to your LinkedIn account. And then we're saying that we want to create a post, and then the contents of this post are going to be the result that we got from ChatGPT. And then if you scroll down, basically you can change the visibility and you can select where this post should be basically sent. So at this point, we can probably test the automation and see if it actually works. So just to recap, we've got this Google Sheet, which contains our articles. And then the articles are going to be in column A, and the output for each of the social media platforms is going to be stored into the individual columns B, C, and D. So I've added this article from OpenAI. So let's just take a look at it. So basically what we want to do is based on the information in this article, we want to create a LinkedIn post, Instagram captions, and also a tweet, which we can post on Twitter later on. And yes, so if we go back to our make.com scenario, and if we click on the run button, then this is going to trigger the scenario. It's going to basically fetch the contents of this page for the article. And then it's going to query ChatGPT 3 times, and it's going to save the appropriate outputs into our Google Sheet. And for the LinkedIn contents, it's going to create a LinkedIn post, which we can look at once this has been published on LinkedIn. So let's click on the run once button and then see what happens. As you can see, the scenario is up and running. So let's wait for it to finish and then we can take a look at the outcome. So you can see that we sent three different queries to ChatGPT, and each query produced some outputs, and then the outputs were saved into our Google Sheet. And last but not least, the LinkedIn component executed and it finished successfully. So now we can basically go to my LinkedIn profile and see if we made a post. So let me just refresh this page. As you can see, we made a LinkedIn post automatically. So you can see that the post contains a summary and then it contains the actual post content. Finally, we've got a link to the actual article, which was used as a reference to produce this summary. And we also have some hashtags at the end. So now, if we go back to our Google Sheet, we should see a lot of data. And yeah, so there you go. So we've got our URL, then we've got the Twitter post, we've got the LinkedIn post, and also Instagram captions. So you can see each of the columns has been populated with appropriate data for the respective platform. And just like that, you have automated your content writing workflow using Make.com and ChatGPT. No more writer's block and no more hours spent drafting posts manually. If you found this video useful, please like it, subscribe to the channel for more AI automation tutorials, and join my school community where I share bonus content and templates. You can find the link down in the description. And last but not least, now we have just integrated LinkedIn into our pipeline, but you can also connect your Instagram account and also your Twitter account so that you can post automatically to all the free social media platforms at the same time. Thank you very much for your time and see you in the next video.